Hey beautiful people, welcome back to 2 days on a pod. This is Drew. Just wanted to mention that Dylan's camera angle didn't film, so you're stuck looking at my beautiful face, and there's also another camera angle, so enjoy the pod, and good luck getting through it all. Back again.
Week 2?
Do you hear that?
Hear what?
I can't start.
Restart. My bad.
Nah, do you hear that?
Hear what?
Yes, I've gone on GarageBand again and I've made another beat.
Wait, Skrillex, watch out.
It's not a Skrillex beat. It's just a nice. I can't remember what it goes like, but that's what's playing right now.
Is it better than last week's?
Ooh, yeah. Or it's like a beat, so it actually bop. Like it's a bit of a bop. Yeah. And I've put time and effort into it. 10 minutes. And
that's all the listeners get on this show.
Yeah, well, when you listen to a podcast or a big podcast, like some of them have a bit of music that like kind of hypes up to like the main intro. So gotta have some of that. And so
editing last week's podcast though, when I had to slip in the theme song, I just hope everyone enjoyed that because I lost my shit for like 10 minutes.
That was a fun I forgot how shit it was, and then Dylan, obviously I couldn't show them because I made it on my phone. And I showed Dylan straight away after, and I think Mum even shat on it as well. My Mum was like, "What?" And it legit is not great, but I don't know how many weeks we're gonna roll with it.
That's our theme song. I don't understand. That's forever.
I might make some adjustments because it's so bad. Like I can.
I was waiting for the part that you started saying two Ds. It just never came in.
It didn't come in. I cut that bit out. I was like, it doesn't really fit the vibe. But actually, I can add the two Ds as a lead up.
True.
Faintly, but I haven't added it in. It's just like a nice beat.
Well, every week will be one of those things where we just add one new thing until it's a full-fledged song.
Yeah. So we'll add the beat this way, and then maybe next week we'll add like
some trumpets or something. I don't know.
Some animations all right.
Of
us two. But yeah, I saw everyone saw the little intro shield.
Yeah,
thing.
Shout out to
what Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro for that one.
That looked elite. That was top-notch stuff. How much did that cost?
That was free. It was free Premiere Pro stock.
Yeah. So we might have to make some adjustments on that as well. But
get off our ass a little bit, make a logo and shit.
We'll roll the intro right now. Let's have another look.
Welcome back! It's week 2 of 2 Ds on a podcast.
Oh my god, that was insane. I'm pumped for this now.
Energy levels are high today.
So the vibes are up as well.
It's a good vibe.
It's been a tough week for me.
2 weeks ago was a tough week for me, and I felt like I gave you...
I'm not going to accuse you of anything, but I think you did give me corona. And thank you so much.
It's a fun time, a week off work.
It was great. It was the first 15 minutes I wanted to die. I'll tell you a story. So I don't know how... You can maybe talk about your journey, but my journey with COVID was waking up the day after the podcast, the Tuesday. So we filmed on Monday, and previously I'd been to the movie, sat next to Dylan in the movie for 3 hours, the longest movie ever, Batman. So thank you, Batman. And then, so I sat next to you, and I didn't wear a mask, and I'm like, fuck that.
I wasn't wearing a mask. I'm not sitting with a mask on for 3 hours watching a movie.
Exactly. And then, so, sat next to Dylan and that, and then Jeremy, the other kid, that obviously the homeless-looking guy that was on the other podcast, the first podcast ever, he had done the exact same things. I mean, like, that distance there, a bit different to there, but somehow that kid doesn't get it. So then I'm like, but did I get it from Dylan? Because obviously we filmed the podcast together, and then because that's the funnest part about tracing back to where you got. Obviously yours was easy, it was your little brother.
I feel like I didn't get the full experience of trying to be a detective of where I got it from.
And then I was like, oh fuck, Dylan, it was him. And then 2 days later, I told the close friends of our group, and I told Maddie, and then her boyfriend said he tested positive, and I was like, oh. So potentially I got it Saturday. So we went to the movies Sunday. So maybe we didn't get Sunday. Maybe we got Saturday because that was the last time I was with Riley, the guy, and that was playing footy. So, and that kind of makes more sense, playing footy. And then Kingsway club rooms the most disgusting. Oh,
They've got to be some of the worst
rank.
north
And
of the river. I don't know about south of the river, but north of the river,
yeah,
Kingsway's lacking.
going like playing in Melbourne, like there was some pretty shit ones, but just coming back here just remind me of the goal. Shit has changed, and there's no money goes into like local footy over here, so it's understandable. They all like, I don't even know. I think they're all paid by the Shire or redevelopments. So I'm not getting too much into that. Yeah,
the politics of local footy.
Yeah, it was like a hot box in there pretty much, and like there's going to be a place for COVID to breed. And there was lots of people getting COVID, lots of numbers not showing.
I don't know if you've ever played, but have you ever played in like Ocean Reef, like the is it Quinns Rock, whatever they call
Quinns.
it? Not Quinns.
Oh, Quinns Balls.
No,
Ocean Reef.
Like the
Ridge.
Ocean Ridge. That's the
Yeah.
one I'm thinking of. Their change rooms are probably worse than Kingsway.
That's why I won my first premiership. So that's God ground down there. Thanks, boys. Nah. I haven't played that since like year 7, so I can't remember it. But there's some shit one like Balga. It's Balga, but. Well, yeah, actually, we should do a tier list on going around to
local footy grounds tier list. Let's
You
go.
have to play to actually do that.
True.
Yeah, I think obviously the week's gone past. I'm fine now. It was only that first 15 minutes where...
Was it only the 15 minutes that you felt bad, or... Because I had like 3 days of feeling like cheeks.
Like, I know there was days where I was like fatigued, and there was days where I'm like, I cannot be asked doing anything. But there was 15 minutes there, and like, I think I pushed myself to the limit. It's like that. The first, like, I kind of knew I had it. Like, you do have a feeling. I don't had a feeling, and like, I walk out here, and I've got my mask on. Mum's like, "Oh no," I'm like, "Yeah," and then we did the test, and I'm not too good. Like, I didn't know how far like the rat test. I don't know how far to go in, and it was just the most painful. It wasn't painful, but I was just like, "Oh, I feel
it's uncomfortable.
So
it's not."
arse. Yeah, and I was doing it standing up. And I was getting, the more I was going in, the more faint I was getting. And then I was like, oh, I got to do it though. I got to do it. I got to get it done. Because there's like time, like when you're reading the big like spreadsheet of stuff to do, it's like, oh, you got to do this in 10 minutes and you got to sweat around for 15. And I was like doing all those equations. I'm like, oh, I got to do it. If I don't get it done, like it's going to be inaccurate. And it was inaccurate because I got negative. Thank you. And then 2 hours later,
a rat test on Fraud Watch, I think they actually might be, because they have to be one of the most inaccurate things I've ever heard of. Because so many people say, oh, that mine came back negative, did a PCR and it came back positive.
And so that's what happened to mine. But I walked from that kitchen to here, and I don't know if I explained it to you. I was trying to explain it to someone else, and like, I think it was Dad. And in a dream, like, isn't there a thing that you can't read in a dream?
Yeah, like you can't tell the time or something like that. Yeah,
I think, but what I was experiencing is like, you know, when you like look at the sun for like a minute.
You just got dyslexia from having COVID.
I was like, what are words? This is gibberish. It was like looking into the sun for like a few seconds, and then you go look at something like specific and try to read it, and all you see is like a white light. Yeah, so I was experiencing that for a minute, like, and like imagine trying to read instructions with that shit, like. I don't know, there must be an effect. When I'm editing it, I'll add the effects of like what it was looking at. But yeah, it was like a bright light. I couldn't focus on anything. And then like, I was like, I don't know if you guys have done it, but like, obviously Dylan's done it where you squeeze the little tube like onto the actual testing thing. And I couldn't even see that. So I'm like doing it, I'm like, oh. And Mum was in another room, so I wish I got her to do it. But at the same time, probably shouldn't. Yeah, got to do it myself. And then, like, you meant to do 3 drops into it, and I couldn't tell if I did 1 or none. Like, I couldn't even tell. I could have done like 15, but I was like, oh, that's about right. And I go pass out in my bed, and Mum's like, oh, it's 15 minutes up. I'm like, I don't know, I don't care. It's on the go read it, and there's negative. So I'm like, something's not right. Went up the road, spent 2 hours on someone's like, I went up at East Street here, and
doxing yourself right there.
Yeah, well. They did it. Normally, there's like a massive traffic jam.
Yeah.
Like, I stayed in my car, which is.
But did you not go to the one up on?
No.
See, I went to that one when I got my test done. We were there for 15 minutes max.
Oh, what time of day?
Like 3:30.
Oh, that's really late.
Yeah.
Because normally, were they about to close as well?
Oh, I think they were talking about closing the next like half hour or something like that.
So I did it like 11 o'clock, so probably not a great time.
Peak
I
time?
thought I was going to go earlier, but like it was that first morning, so I'm like, I've just been tested negative. I didn't know if I had enough like symptoms.
Yeah.
I felt achy. I felt like tired. Like, I knew I had it. I just didn't want that to come back negative after waiting 2 hours in line.
Yeah.
And then having to do the whole because it took like at least 24 hours I was thinking it was just like 20 hours before the actual test came back.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's like when I was editing last week's podcast and I'm trying to get some things to splice in and I call you and you answer the phone and I've never heard someone closer to death before in my life. Like this guy sounded like a zombie and I was like, this guy's going through it right now. I felt bad getting you to send me the things. I was like, this guy is dying.
I think generally people sound worse than they really are.
Yeah.
Like,
you get kind of nasally and shit.
Even now I feel like I'm not talking for a week. I was like, should we film the podcast today? And I'm like, I might just get 2 words out. I'm like, just pass out. But we're here. We love it. It was a great experience. I don't know if your experience is similar, but yeah.
Oh, I get like the body aches and that was the worst part. And just like trying to leave bed for 3 days was an effort. But I mean, other than that, like felt great pretty quickly. But it's been a big weekend of sport. Footy, first round of footy, first F1 race.
Yeah, it was good because I couldn't actually go out. So all my mates were like, yeah, come out. I'm like, no, mate, got to concentrate on the foot. Like, I watched every single game. Like, it was actually so good. Watched the F1s on Sunday night. We'll start off with...
Well, I feel like there's some other news I guess we could talk about first. I mean,
some sad news, guys.
Australia legend, icon.
When it came up, I nearly got a tear. I was at uni. I was like, fuck, yeah.
I had to read it twice, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought, is she injured? Is she thinking, no, she's hanging up the racket?
The news is Brady is retiring. The Barty is no longer having a party.
The Barty party's over. I think
it's maybe continues. Like maybe she just wants to party for the rest
I
of
think
her life.
is it Barty kick-ons now that she's done with tennis?
Well, I hope I get an invite because I was there along the journey. I remember watching her Big Bash career at Brisbane Heat, I believe. Did you know that?
I just found that out then. All right.
She was actually she was like a good junior tennis player. I'm pretty sure. I'm not too sure about that actually, but she made the trip over to Brisbane Heat and played maybe 1 or 2 seasons with them in the Big Bash. And then I think she was like, I'm not the greatest cricket player. I'll go back to tennis, and then completely dominated. Obviously, number 1 still is, but
always will be in our hearts.
Yeah. Well, she's probably the most dominant Australian women's player I've ever seen. Like, there's kind of Stam Stosur, but like I've never really rated her. I think, she was obviously Ash is a fucking phenomenal player, and she kind of came just after Serena Williams. Like, luckily,
I feel like that was perfect timing for
luckily,
her.
because Serena just dominated for so many years. And then like same in the men's, like you had the big 3: Novak Djokovic, obviously Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, and like they just have dominated the last 20 years. So
I'm not like a massive tennis fan, but like ever since I've kind of started watching it, like I don't know, viewed tennis, I guess, like they've always been the 3 main contenders. It'd be kind of nice to see someone start winning a bit more. Yeah,
there are like new boys on the block. Like you got Medvedev, like the Russian. Who else? There's the German guy Zverev. There's the Greek freak.
I know he's not good, but I love Kokkinakis. He's one of my favourite tennis players.
Kokkinakis and Special K.
Special K,
those 2 boys, they are special. I've always been an ambassador of Kyrgios. Lots of the old-fashioned tennis players like, he's disrespectful. Like,
but I feel like you kind of need that in the game nowadays. Like, in every sport, you look at the sports who try to remain as traditional as possible, and they just, I don't know, they seem to fall off compared to like you look at ones who kind of lean into more like the younger fan base, like the NBA and stuff like that. They've had a massive rise in popularity.
I don't really condone I don't know if you saw the clip, but Kyrgios legit last week threw a racket and bounced and nearly smacked a bull boy. Did you see that?
I didn't see that. I saw him have a go at a fan and start bringing Ben Stiller into it. Though. That was funny.
Ben Stiller was in the crowd. He looked. Did you see a photo?
He looked old. Really
he's
old.
Going downhill fast.
Just I remember like when I think of Ben Stiller, I'm thinking of like Night at the Museum. Ben Stiller,
classic.
Literally.
I think that's his biggest film, right? Surely, we're missing one.
Tropic Thunder.
Actually,
that's the big one.
Yeah, that is true. It actually sucks not having. I guess it's good not having a phone, but
for the people at home, our setup is so
good.
It's the best setup, all the best podcasts.
It's the most expensive.
Impulsive does it like this, I'm pretty sure. They're just our phones are recording, so we actually can't.
Couldn't afford a producer today though.
Yeah.
But, that's fine.
We ran out of budget when we got to the producer.
Yeah, but we put a lot of budget into the cameras, into mics, into our laptops, you know. That's what gets all the content out there. And the quality content it is.
The highest of quality.
But yeah, rest in peace, Ash. Hopefully she comes back. Do
you reckon she would?
Well, lots of people like Brady, he announced his retirement.
Yeah, true.
Conor McGregor. Who else out there?
I feel like it's a bit different. I don't know why Tom Brady retired exactly. Why he came back exactly, but like look, Conor McGregor, like when he's retiring, it's to get a bigger paycheck from the UFC.
Yeah.
But like, why is Ash Barty's like the ATP are going to be like, oh, we'll give you more money if you win, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and she'll still have her sponsors. Like,
oh yeah, true.
I feel bad for those. Like, who's she with? Is it Filler? I'm pretty sure she's with Filler, and like, I feel bad for them because they're looking and they would have done her contract, and obviously it might could recently be ending, which is good for Filler. But like imagine like a big player. I think like Novak and Nadal, they have like 10-year contracts. Imagine last year.
Yeah.
They're expecting this player to be on the top ranks the next on the circuit for the next 6 years, and then they announce they're retiring. It's like, oh, we've still got to pay. I don't know actually.
Well, it's like I don't know if you heard about it. So Tom Brady retired the day before he unretired. The NFL had their yearly auction. They auction off a bunch of memorabilia from the season and donate the proceeds to charity. Yeah. So one of the items at the auction was Tom Brady's last ever touchdown ball, and someone bought it for $518,000 US. The next day, Tom Brady decides to unretire.
Oh, so you reckon?
So he dropped $500,000 on a game ball that was supposed to be Tom Brady's last ever touchdown, and then the next day
has been called out for it.
Well, people were like this guy's like, it's stupid that he's just dropped this amount of money on a ball, and obviously Tom Brady will be throwing for at least one touchdown this year. So like the old meaning of the ball is kind of gone now. But I don't know.
I mean, you can still claim on like eBay. Put back up there like, oh yeah, this was.
Well, I guess it means something.
That's smart. It's clever from the beginning. Does he get the money or does it go to charity?
It just goes all to charity.
Oh,
and then he's like,
charity,
love it. And like Tom Brady's like, oh, we'll give a Bitcoin to charity or something like that. But I'd be wanting my money back. Fuck the charity, low key.
Did the guy come out and say anything? I bought it.
Not that I saw.
Probably like a Twitter comment saying, "Oh, my money back." How much was it again?
518,000.
That was US. That's US.
US, yeah.
Yeah, that's too much, man.
Yeah, I guess I can understand like the significance of it. For him to unretire, like I'd feel a lot of different ways.
I mean, yeah. When I was when I was on the Melbourne Facebook group page yesterday, and someone had a signed Guernsey 2021, like signed by every grand finalist player. That'd
be sick.
And so I was like, oh, I want to sell it, or I think it was selling it. Like, I'm not sure how much. And someone said $350. I'm like, I don't even know if that's too high or too low.
I feel like that's too low.
Yeah, I think people like would value that so highly. And then there's some people like a West Coast supporter be like, oh, I'd buy that for like a pack of chips. Like, it's not worth that much, but yeah, I'd buy it for like, I don't know. I'd probably buy it for as low as I can, but I'd sell it for as high as I could.
It'd be one of those things you kind of put in like the man cave or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It'd just be cool. I think making fake merchandise would be pretty cool as well. Like selling, like making it for so cheap. I wonder how much.
This might be an off podcast thing because I've actually got ideas that we could run with for things like this. But I mean, just in footy in general, how good is it having it back?
Oh my
Community
God.
series just doesn't cut it, unfortunately. But like round one, like I think this is the most footy I've watched in a long time.
Snooze fest. Like having footy on Wednesday night, I don't know. Yeah. It was a bit disappointing to see only 1,000 rock up to the G. It is a Wednesday night, so I guess all those kids are going back to school the next day. But yeah, how good was it? Started off with Melbourne Western Bulldogs.
That was a good game. It was looked a bit shaky in the second quarter for you guys. It did.
I mean, it always looks shaky in the second quarter, apparently.
Like, I was flicking you messages like, these are some dodgy calls, but then...
I've kind of worked out that I do not talk shit at all during a game, and especially a game that I want the result to go like my way. I obviously want the beloved D's to win, and I refrain from talking any shit because I know it will come back to bite me. And as soon as I bite back at someone, boom, I don't know what happens, but we lose. We're getting goal after goal kicked against us, and I'm just like, I shouldn't have said that. I think it was Justin Raponi was like, oh, D's are on fire. I'm like, yeah, these doggies are shit house. Like, obviously a bit depressed from last year. Free from his eyes, gone. But they came back and I was a bit nervous, but we got over the line. to take away from the game, Sun did an knee injury, so hopefully he gets back up. Crucial player to our team, but we've got lots of members in our team now at that peak of their
Next man
career.
up.
Yeah, so we'll be all right. What else happened?
Well, we had the Sydney Derby. That was a good
was a
game. That was a
really
good game
good
for what it
game.
was. I didn't like Buddy Franklin constantly milking free kicks. I honestly reckon he could have had
Phil
3
Davis,
goals. He
well
could have had 3
done.
goals easy. Like Phil Davis was clamping him, but if
Yeah.
Buddy had actually just like run hard at the
Yeah.
footy, like made himself available more instead of every single time Phil Davis touched him, he's throwing himself trying to get a free kick, and he got one dodgy
Joe
one.
Danaher, same.
I didn't see much of the game. I saw him hand pass one after the siren or something like that. That's a brain fade.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if it's a brain fade, but like,
Just take the
just
goal.
take the goal.
Just
Yeah,
take the goal.
do. I mean, I do not rate the bloke. Oh, he's funny, I guess, but I don't rate him as a footy player. Like, I don't know. It's just the being like a big family name like Danaher, Essendon, and then I don't know how he can go from. I guess you can have different medical staff, whatever, but he's got. I don't know what the stat was, but limited games in 3 years with like groin injuries, whatever, and then moves up to Brisbane and he's like crisp and ready to go. Some people had him as a Coleman prediction. I'm just like, no, you got drugs. Like, what the hell is that? Like, no way. Good player.
If he can stay consistent over a year, though, I reckon he'll be in the list of names potentially if he's able to keep himself fit and healthy for the entire year. But I don't see him winning it. Yeah,
he's a big boy. But yeah, that Sydney game, it was. I don't know. There was a period of the game where it was like goal to Sydney and then DWS Sydney. It was like back and forth. Everyone wanted Buddy to kick 1,000. Obviously, it didn't get done, but I think big shot this week. I'm sure we're versing this week.
they're versing Geelong this week.
Ooh.
I don't reckon Buddy's going to get done this week.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say. I don't know. I found this round though. It was so nice to watch. There was a lot of just offensive footy, just a lot of hands, a lot of run and go, run and carry with the ball. Especially in that Sydney game, it was real nice to watch.
Yeah, even Carlton looked to be back. Their game.
I called that last week. I did say Carlton they're going to be on the come up.
It's one game, but I feel bad for those Carlton supporters because I'm like, it's one game. Their pre-season game against Melbourne.
I don't know if Adelaide are going to be good or if Fremantle are pretenders this year. A 1 point loss just with a spoil on the line.
That game was crazy.
That was a good
because Freo were dominating and Adelaide pulled the second wind. And I'm like, they're gonna come back and they were dominating that last quarter and then kind of Freo got a roll on it. That's the good thing about I guess the 666 rule. 666 rule and there was lots of momentum changes this weekend.
Yeah.
And there was lots of stats saying that. The end up losing team were down by 20 odds, and the other team coming back and winning by 20 odds. It was actually quite a good stat to look at, and it was 6 out of the 9 games, which is more. That's real good,
yeah.
So it just shows that the rules that they do change, stopping and changing. I love the stand rule now. I think.
I don't know.
I hate playing it, but it makes sense, and as a quick player, you want that extra because you get an extra 10 meters, 20 meters in your kick. It's phenomenal how much time, as well as kind of adds pace to the game.
I don't like how trigger happy umpires are with the 50 meters now though.
Yeah.
That took away from the Melbourne and Bulldogs game. There was one that there was it was an iffy free kick, and I don't know. He's just obviously tensions are high and stuff. You're in the middle of game of footy. He starts calling out to the umpire to kind of see what's going on because it was a very iffy call, and then there's a 50 meters against him. I feel like that's a bit overkill.
Well, Melbourne had 8 paid against them the week before or 2 weeks before. I was like, they're going to learn their lesson, and I think Richmond didn't learn their lesson. I think in their game they had heaps of forward 50 paid against them whatever the free kick is, and then. What else do we have? We had North and Hawthorn on a Sunday morning. Watch that one because I couldn't do anything else, and only because I had a multi. Yeah, I had a multi.
The only reason to watch sometimes.
I had a multi on most games, and we'll finish off the round predictions. You went to the West Coast Gold Coast Classic.
That was actually a good game until the last quarter. It was a fun time. Jeremy came. We sat in the members section for the Eagles on this basically dead center in the wing.
It's actually such a good spot.
It was amazing seats, right?
Yeah.
And So we're having drinks at my house. I give Raj a scarf, like a spare Eagle scarf. So I give Raj a scarf to wear. I'm wearing a scarf, and then I'm just like, oh, like, because Jeremy said he was going to go for Gold Coast. I was like, oh, I've got my Gold Coast jersey if you want to wear it. So anyway, he's wearing a Gold Coast jersey on him, obviously, to the game. We sit down in our seats. I didn't realize where the seats were, but it literally was the entire wing of just Eagles members. Yeah. And we'll put the video in now, but Jeremy's sitting there recording yelling every single time. Go, guys! Jeremy Sharp was getting catcalled by Jeremy. Like, honestly, like, Jez, I love you. I love you. You're so hot.
Because he's a winger as well. Like, and you're on the wing.
He's
and
there
like,
the entire time.
When he's saying, like, they're on the wing, they're like, I don't know, row 7 or something.
We were
like
row 4, and every second row is like off, so because of COVID. So like I don't know, second row, I guess, of people.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like and every free kick that went Gold Coast way, he was cheering for it, and all that. We're getting some dirty.
He's
looks.
A good-looking bloke, but
Jez Sharp, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, the dirty looks that Jeremy was getting, I was like, oh, we're gonna have to make some quick way out of the stadium here because
West Coast supporters are a bit more traditional.
Bring back the Biff.
Yeah, I think I've sat there as a Melbourne supporter once before, and I'm a bit lippy, but I don't go too full into it because like at the end of the day, you are in someone else's like territory.
Yeah,
and like
the thing that
get glocked in the back of the head.
The video would tell you how my night went being an Eagles fan sitting next to a fake Gold Coast fan for a day because it was an experience, I'll tell you that.
And the other kid that you went with, Raj, was he just worried about stats and stuff?
All he gave a fuck was the multi. All it was the multi.
That's the one thing I hate about there's lots of things I hate about gambling, but sports betting specifically just where's that player? Like. As a kid, you grew up with playing AFL Fantasy, and it was kind of similar. I want this guy to get most kicks and stuff like that. Get a kick. But when it comes to betting, you're money on the line, yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've got a new hatred for Nick Nui after he stuffed my multi. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It's good in a way. It gives worthless games that you would never watch. It gives them a reason to watch and a bit of added meaning. But then. I don't know. I low-key think it is a bit annoying when you're live at the footy and all you're really caring about is where's Noah Anderson? Is he getting enough touch? I had Matt Rowell for 25 or something like that. So I was like,
I think watching it live as well. If you're always on your phone looking at stats, there's some people that do genuinely go to footy and counting goals and I think it's a bit hard to count stats, but
champion data.
Yeah, but those things of the gambling, and then I had a shit start to the week. Had a few multis, didn't go my way, and I wrote down on the what we should have on the podcast. We'll talk about that. Wasn't winning anything, and then a couple of games ago, come around, and I was like, oh, I'm winning now. I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And then I don't know if we're done about talking about footy, but working with F1 and never gamble. I'm never gambling on F1 ever again. Because if you understand the pain I went through on bloody Sunday night, we'll move on to it.
Sure, yeah.
So the first Grand Prix of the year, Bahrain. Great to have it back. Bit of tension going around, I think, due to what happened to the ending of last year, but.
I reckon Max and Lewis seemed fine. They dabbed each other up on the grid, and
I guess
I feel like it's simmered down now that at the moment how the Mercedes aren't comfortable with their car. I feel like it's not as tense as it potentially could get later on in the season.
Definitely, and it's starting from scratch all over again. Really, the new cars, they look really nice as well. But Ferrari dominating again. Red Bull seem to be doing all right. Mercedes a bit slower. McLaren nowhere near the pace.
Haas are back up.
Oh god.
There's I've been a Mercedes fan basically the entire time I've gotten to Formula One, but there's something about seeing the Ferrari at the front, on pole, winning the races and stuff like that. I was happy for Charles Leclerc.
Do you like the red? It's not a hot red. It's a
darker type of red.
Do you like it? I guess I don't mind it. Is that the more Ferrari red? I guess.
I think so. I think that red is a callback to one of their first cars or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
It had that kind of darker.
It kind of does have that vibe to it. It kind of looks nice, but at the same time, But then a hot red.
I don't know if you were thinking watching it, but in 2017 when it was Lewis versus Sebastian Vettel when Vettel was at Ferrari, I want to say 2017. The Ferrari livery for that year was so nice. It was a nice vibrant red. It had they made a rule about like the numbers being visible.
Oh, okay.
So like the back plate was super good. Like the number plate was really nice. So, yeah, I know that's probably one of my favorite Ferrari cars.
Yeah, right. Well, because like even I don't know if it's normal, but Hamilton had like glowed up 44. Like it's a yellow. Is that normal?
Yeah. Also, that's just for this year. He just wanted his numbers to match his helmet, and he's rocking like the yellow, like bright neon helmet.
Yeah, which looks cool, and it makes him stand out way more.
Oh yeah.
But
I saw a conspiracy. I don't know, like you can always cut this part out if you deem to. So like I saw a conspiracy though about it. It's probably the dumbest conspiracy I've ever heard, but this conspiracy was saying that Mercedes have changed Lewis's and George's number to be nice and vibrant on the car, easily seeable, easily visible, because there's a rule from the FIA that like all the numbers on the car must be easily visible.
Yeah, right.
And if you really like, even I was having difficulty trying to spot who was who when I was watching the race between like, you know, you look at Max's car, look at the Ferraris, like the numbers aren't too visible. So they reckon that if Mercedes were kind of on the pace more and they wanted to get that, I don't know, throw off one of the other teams, they would then go to the FIA and be like, their cars don't comply with the rules, the numbers aren't visible enough, which it has happened before, which is why in 2017, which is why stupid. They brought like the back plates and shit like that, like teams had, like Ferrari had like it was the numbers were like black, but it was like a white kind of background for it, because like they were like the rules were changed to then have them easily visible.
Yeah, I don't really. I guess it's just another car. Like I don't understand it, but.
Do you not reckon they need something? Like, so usually they change the T-cam on the car to have like the second driver has like the fluoro one, even though Lewis for Mercedes
which
has
I
that.
never knew that until someone mentioned it, and there was someone that did the opposite. Is it Hamilton that does the opposite?
So Hamilton, for this year anyway, Hamilton took the second T-cam to match his helmet. But like, I feel like there needs to be something where you're able to distinguish who's actually driving. Because like without the halo, you'd be able to see the helmet a lot easier.
Yeah.
You'd be able to see, oh, that's him. You know what I mean? Like when Michael Schumacher was racing, you saw like the red helmet. You knew it was Michael Schumacher, you know what I mean? Whereas now with the halo kind of covering up the car, like the cockpit of the car a little bit more.
And saying that, like you got people in your ear like constantly. You kind of, I guess, I don't know. I've never been like on a driving circuit, so I could be completely wrong. But surely you would know kind of who's in front of you, who's behind you. I guess it's hard with like pit stops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, I was looking. I mean like purely from like a fan perspective of like just watching the race. Like, I was watching some highlights of it today, and I was like, is that Sergio Perez or is that Max Verstappen?
I agree. Yeah. But yeah, it was a good race. I knew you fell asleep.
I rewatched it the next day, but I'm
not a real fan. I'm a real fan over here. I've been watching since I was born, man.
It was nice. It was nice. Seeing the two packs of cars at the start, seeing they kind of broke away like the kind of front pack, but seeing them next to each other racing through every corner, like this the nice pack. I loved watching it. Even though Mercedes weren't fighting for the win, like I get over that. Like I've called that from ages ago, but seeing them actually being able to fight and stay with each other, you look at the interaction with them, Max and Charles Leclerc, corner from corner.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Did you watch? Yeah, did you see that? Yeah, because like that was my like car like the and like it helps when the commentary like does pump it up like what are they called? The commentators.
What Crofty?
Yeah. They do a great job. Not gonna lie, I love them.
People hate on Crofty a lot. I love Crofty as a commentator. Yeah,
Crofty's a sick name, like last name as well. Like, there's a guy that I knew in Melbourne. He's like last name was Bancroft, and everyone called him Crofty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a
sick nickname. Yeah.
But the reason I'm not happy is, buddy, I was like a bit tired. It was like it is a late race over here, and I was like, surely. I was going to do top 3 for Verstappen, big Verstappen fan. And I was like, put a bet on like top 3. And I was like, nah, I've got to go safer. Top 6. And I was paying shit odds. And it was like legit. I think, I'm not like huge. I don't put huge sums into Buddy's sports bet. But I put in what I'd been earning during the week of like all my hard earns, like research after research. I'm not happy about Miller getting 29 in the Gold Coast game. Like he got 29, I need 30. So and that was one leg that I needed. But yeah, I would have had a bank. I was like, and if I did win that Gold Coast if that multi came through, I wasn't going to bet on F1, but I was like, gotta end on a high.
gotta chase your losses.
Verstappen, buddy, I put it on pretty much pretty much everything I earned that whole weekend on that one race. And then, how many laps did it go? Like 3?
Who?
For Verstappen that retiring?
Verstappen retired like 3 laps to go or something
Yeah,
like that. Hey, 2
I
laps
was like,
to go.
I saw, and he was complaining about his motor or something like that.
He's complaining about his battery, and
Yeah,
then
his battery.
GP hops on the radio. Nah, the
Yeah,
car's fine.
you're
The
fine,
car's
mate.
fine.
He's like, and they do. I think sometimes like they put red bloody lights on the screens flashing it, and then talking to him because obviously the driver had no idea. And like, no, you're fine, mate. You're fine. Just keep going. And then buddy, he starts slowing down. I'm like, one person goes. I'm like, all right, we're good. The top 6 were 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls, and because Perez is still in at that point, and 2 Mercedes. So I'm like, yeah, top 6 fine, like nothing to worry. Like at least come sick. And then buddy, he keeps on going, and he just pits. I'm like, come on, man. Like I think I've done 1 or 2 maybe F1 bets, and normally I do come through because they're so reliable, but. Man, I'm not betting on F1 until I know the car's reliable.
The worst thing about that whole thing is it's not even Red Bull's fault as such because the fuel pump is a standardized part from the FIA for this year. It's like a new thing. So there's one manufacturer for all the teams to make the fuel pumps, and that is what went wrong in both Perez's and Verstappen's car.
Yeah, right.
So that's just unlucky as
and to happen like that could have happened on the 68th lap, which obviously is when it's over, and it happened to happen like 3, and you could argue that Gasly's car coming on fire, like do you reckon that affected, like obviously they had the time for the safety car and like all of it to get cleared.
Yeah.
Like you never know, like that if that never happens, like everyone finishes fine. Like you never know. Like,
well, like Charles Leclerc was saying after the race that he was like they weren't pushing him 100% throughout the race because they knew they knew that they weren't going to be able to, or something. Obviously, a massive chance of going wrong. I guess Max Verstappen was a bit more on the limit. He did blow up at his engineers talking about like not going slow out and out laps anymore.
Yeah. Charles is a good bloke though. I'll rate him.
Do you reckon Max is? I mean, I like Charles as a driver.
Yeah.
And like if the title fight does come down to Max or Charles, I would be going for Charles. But do you reckon Max has kind of found a worthy, not opponent, like a worthy match, I guess you'd say, both in Charles Leclerc, if they are able to have like a title fight? Both young, both aggressive. Whereas Max,
like Hamilton as well.
But I don't know. Max versus Lewis one. It's like Lewis has done it before. Like Lewis is like the old guard. I don't know. I guess you could look at stuff like changing of the guard kind of last year with Max winning it. But he's been in there for a while. He's super experienced. He was super, calm, collected, and all that. Whereas if you look at, like, you got 2 under, I think they're both under 25, like 25, of like these 2 drivers, both super aggressive. As Hamilton, a lot of the times last year compared to Max, was the one pulling out of moves.
Yeah.
Like until about England when Max got sent at Cop's Corner, but Hamilton was the one that was pulling out majority of the time. Whereas if you now get these 2 young aggressive drivers, I'm very keen to see how the rest of the season pans out, even if Mercedes aren't.
I think Swans is up there as well. Like I think
Sainz is one of my favorite drivers.
It'd be interesting to see just the not engines, but the team. What do they call that? Like the team, right? The ladder.
Like
the constructors.
The constructors. Yeah.
Like that, I think that would be like the most interesting because obviously, Verstappen won last year, but Mercedes still won the whole thing, right? Yeah. And for what?
Well, I don't know what people look at because like I don't know, Mercedes won the constructors 8 times in a row, and that is one of the best teams ever. But then I feel like that kind of achievement doesn't get recognized as much as like you look at Lewis Hamilton, 7 world champion. Obviously, it's like individual, but
it is
like
individual.
But it is. I feel like the constructors doesn't get as much recognition and respect as it probably should deserve, really.
Because if you go back to a poster, and at the end of the year, you're not seeing a poster of Mercedes. Like, I guess it's a good team, but like when it comes back, I kind of forget that it is a team, but each driver not hates, but like there's such a competitive level against, I want to beat like my teammate. Like
that's the person you get. That's like the only other person where they are in the same machinery as you, and the team can look at it and be like, all right, we don't know exactly how accurate our pace is against the Ferrari, for example, but if he's able to get a lap like a 128 in the car, how come you're putting in a 130? You know what I mean? Like I don't know, kind of like that. And I mean, look, it's like the pinnacle of motorsport. There's 20 spots on the grid. Like, the easiest person, if you're going to point fingers at someone, would be your teammate. So you just got to be better than them.
True. That is true.
But I mean, I do feel kind of bad for George Russell though. Imagine all these years in a Williams to get to the top of the grid.
Poor kid.
And he gets there, and look, I'm not running off Mercedes. Mercedes are they're not 8 times constructors for no reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I reckon they'll 100% be able to find some more pace in the car, fix the porpoising issue.
Who's the richest as well? They'll be one of the richest teams as well. Or doesn't it really come down to
it? It doesn't now. It doesn't really matter because of cost cap. So it's like 140 million USD or something like that for the season, or whatever the teams are allowed to spend.
I love how you were hyping Mercedes up so much. Like
what? I was calling. Hold up. I was calling the new regs to fuck Mercedes over for a long time.
Did you not say? Like, this is ages. This actually came out of nowhere. But you did say that last year. You're like, oh yeah, they've already been testing and like they've pretty much like they've been like jumping ahead. Whereas you're saying like what the whole argument was, oh, is Verstappen going to be better than like Hamilton again this year? And it kind of really, I think I underestimated the effect on just having new cars in general. Because this doesn't really come down to that anymore. Like Verstappen or Hamilton, it's like kind of comes down to how your car's really performing. But you were like, oh yeah, Mercedes have been like testing and they've been doing all that, and like whereas Red Bull had been only doing and focusing on purely that one season. Like what was that point?
Well, like, obviously Red Bull weren't purely only focusing on that. Like they were looking for, like you would have to look forward to the new regulations, especially. But I mean, so like last year.
Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes, like James Allison and all that had come out and said that, we are like, we're not bringing any more upgrades to this year's car. We're only focusing on next year's car. Yeah. Mainly, like they brought in some minor upgrades, but nothing too major. Whereas Red Bull were doing bringing major upgrades throughout the year. Yeah. And I guess you have to though, because like, I don't know, last year's car was basically like a 0.5 basically. It wasn't like a full upgraded Mercedes, but like when you're top of the grid, you can kind of afford to a little bit more to kind of look forward. Yeah. Whereas, I mean, and to be fair, like they just got it wrong really because they need to fix the porpoising issue. But like they thought no one really thought porpoising was going to be an issue. Whereas they thought they had it set with the low side pods, no side pods. Like that would have been revolutionary if porpoising wasn't.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
Super reliant on it, but.
No. It's alright, we move. Like, I guess it would come down to, like, it's a long season as well. Like, just looking and rewatching, well, not rewatching, but just watching Drive to Survive, you kind of get recaps of, like, how a season it's not just, like, one race helps, but, like, it's, like, a cumulative of, like, really good races. Like, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, well, and especially, like, this is the first race of the first cars. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, look at previously, obviously, Mercedes, like the hybrid era, dominant as. But, like, they've had, like, I don't know, they have the years to be building on, like, last year's car because the regulations don't change. So they're able to basically have, like, not a template, but they're able to, like, all right, this is last year's car. What are we able to add to make it more, like, give it more grip in the corners, more rear downforce and stuff like that? Yeah. Whereas, obviously, the new regulations, the vastest regulations they've had. You look at like last year's Formula 1 car, the amount of vanes and like winglets and stuff they had on the front wings, on the side pods and the rear, compared to this year where there's basically none. And it's all on the floor. It's such a massive change. But yeah, I was fully expecting Mercedes to not be as quick. I wasn't expecting them to be down below at anything, but I definitely didn't think they'd be as quick.
I think just because they've set standards just over years.
Oh yeah, and like people were saying, sandbagging through testing and. I don't know. I thought it for like the first testing session. The first like Bahrain testing session. I was like, sandbag here. Got to free practice 1. Watched Lewis Hamilton do an hour lap and went, they're not sandbagging here. Fuck.
Nah. We're gonna cut to a quick break, but we'll be back with you in a sec. All right, welcome back to the break. I don't know how it's going. Welcome back from the break.
The big break?
The big break. Oh, where's Kerry? We're going to move swiftly onto our ladder predictions. So last week we did them. We did do them.
But they're unchanged.
Oh, yeah, definitely unchanged.
Mine's unchanged. I don't know if you're cheating.
Definitely did not say that Hawthorn were going to come last and then had them like 12th. That did not happen at all. So this is the actual ladder. But we'll go into some depth and why we think that West Coast are going to be 19th this year because Tasmania are going to come through. Nah. But yeah, we'll start off. Should we do it like we kind of did last week? But
Well, who do you have at 18th?
Well,
I think that's the best way to do it.
well, I'm going to stick with Hawthorn, even though I think I mentioned Gold Coast. But
Yeah, last week you did say Gold Coast.
Let me get mine actually up. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Hawthorn because they just look. This is not going based on what I saw last week, and they did win. They won against North Melbourne, so I just don't think that they've got a whole season in them. We'll get some few injuries.
I think they're going to get some good games though, and I'm really in on Sam Mitchell as a coach. I don't know if you heard this story on TikTok from Dom Sheed. But so Sam Mitchell was the midfield coach for the Eagles 2018, and he walks into the midfield, like the first midfield meeting of the year, puts up a picture of the Premiership Cup and tells him like that's what we're getting, and calls his shot. I mean,
because like you could do that and like be like taking the piss and almost like you could go down. I could go down to Wanneroo, bloody amateurs footy club, and like do a presentation like, boys, this is what we're gonna win this year, and I was like, oh, fuck, no way, nah, there's no chance. And then but you could tell like Sheed said it and he meant and like was telling the story and it was like Sam Mitchell actually meant it.
Mate, he listen to him tell the story secondhand. I was ready to buy in, thinking, I'm running a Premiership this year. I'm in.
But yeah, no, I don't think they're any good. What about you? Who do you think?
North Melbourne. I mean, it was good. It was good watching him play JHF. Kanga. But it was good watching Jason Horne-Francis kick goal in his debut. They had a good game, but I just don't think they'll be able to do it over a year.
Do you back him as your number one pick?
I've got him for Rising Star. So I've got him for Rising Star. So
yeah. So do you back him after looking at Dacos? And
Dacos had a crazy game for Collingwood.
Is it Rochelle? Adelaide's one, kick 5.
Well, Nick Martin as well.
It
was a good round for the rookies this round.
I feel bad because going back, I'm going to say it. I was telling before the podcast, telling Dylan that my favourite player, Michael Barlow, did you ever end up hearing what he did on his debut?
What did he do?
On his debut, he kicked 3 goals and got 27 and had 9 coaches' votes, which is equal to the most ever now. Because Josh, I want to say his name right. Do you know who I'm talking about? The LA
Josh,
kid?
like Rochelle.
Rochelle, yeah. Got him in my fantasy. Thank you, mate. He got me like too many points. But yeah, there's some new kids on the block, and it's actually really exciting. But
it wasn't really. Yeah. It really was.
So but I've backed Dacos 100%, man. He's a tank.
I was checking the stats of the Collingwood game, and I had Josh Dacos is the older one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I had Josh Dacos in my multi to get possessions, and I opened that the footy live app, and I just see Dacos at the top with like the most disposals of the game. I was like, damn, Josh is having a sick game. Yeah, Wouldn't think the first gamer would be putting up the most disposals.
He's just a ball magnet. He's gonna end up like. And he's gonna end up like Tom Mitchell, I reckon.
Speaking of Collingwood though, what are your thoughts of Kane Corns teed off on him a little bit? I don't know his name, but I saw him watching the game, and I was like, that's a bit out there.
It's not Genovese, but it's like
he's recording himself on a GoPro.
And that's not new though. Like I think Melbourne still do it, but like there are GoPros that go around after the game. Obviously, when you've lost the game, the GoPro doesn't really come out, but. Yeah, no, I rate it, and like
I don't see anything wrong with it personally.
Nah, it brings out personality in the boys, and like obviously you're not going to give that to Scott Penberry because he's probably been there, done that. Like,
he's a bit older as well.
Give it to a young bloke that probably going to say the wrong things, and
I mean he seems high energy. He seems like he's good for the
and
role.
Like and it's just Kane Corns being Kane Corns, really. Like
he has to be the grumpiest media person in.
And footy. if Port Adelaide came out and bloody Xavier Dursman was doing that, this is so good. Like
best idea a footy team's had. Like
and like it all comes back to like Xavier Dursman's bloody celebration. Like Kane Corns like, how good's this? And then a 3-man player does it, and Kane Corns like, yeah, come on mate, put your head in and kick 1 goal.
Yeah, literally.
So not sure about that, but.
Moving on.
Yeah, we'll move to 17th.
I've got the Adelaide Crows at 17th. I don't know if
Adelaide. No,
I
I've
don't
got
know
North.
how you have them. You have North?
Yeah.
Why you got North?
Yeah, no good. I think they're still moving up. Obviously they got Norm Smith. They got the Wooden Spoon last year, but yeah, I don't really rate them. Like you said, they're just, I guess, they got some positive. They got some young guys coming through. The UDL looks pretty good. Luke Davies, UDL, is it Udiak Davies? Davies Udiak? Anyway, he looks really good. And they've been playing 3 rucks, which is just not really the game at the moment.
It's unheard of at the moment.
Yeah,
Really.
so I think if they go back to 2, Goldstein's still got a few more years in him, maybe 2 max. But yeah,
But is it worth keeping Goldstein on if you have 2 younger rucks that they're obviously not pushing for finals
Yeah.
or anything at the moment? It would just be better to get experience in the boys instead.
Cherry, Cherry guy. I think that's how you say it. It's with a Z, but yeah, Cherry.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got some good potential, but Coleman Jones, I mean, he's come from Richmond. He's probably learning like the way Noble's teaching him. So yeah, maybe I don't know. You can play 1 forward and then you can maybe play a second ruck, but you can't really have like Nick Larkey. Like he's gonna stay there for a while unless he moves. So I can't really see all 3 of them getting a game. Yeah, definitely 2.
Yeah, 100%.
Why would you go with Adelaide 17? Why would you do that?
I just don't rate them. Honestly, I don't know. I think they put out a good performance against Freo. I had Freo a lot higher than... Oh, I had Freo making the 8, spoiler alert. But I don't know. I'm just not bought in Adelaide. For a while, I've not been... Past couple of years, I don't know. They've got to show me why to believe in them instead of just giving them some blind hope, you know?
Yeah, no. I think, yeah, I definitely have them lower down. Yeah, don't rate them this year. 16th. Who have you gone with?
Hawthorn. I think...
Hawthorn? Yeah.
Yeah, like they obviously are in a rebuilding stage, but I just think that Adelaide and North Melbourne will be a bit worse off than them.
Yeah.
I think, there's 2 ways they'll be able to respond to Sam Mitchell as a coach, and I think last weekend kind of proved that they had taken well to him. But yeah, I think Hawthorn will be down the bottom, but not at the very bottom this year. What about you? You're at 16th.
West Coast.
Best coast.
Then, I mean, doesn't help that I've got so many injuries, but yeah, I feel bad at this point. Like Tim Kelly getting COVID right before, it kind of puts you
If
down.
we had Tim Kelly against Gold Coast,
you're doing a lot better.
I think we're definitely winning the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say win. I mean that last quarter, you were winning the game pretty much the whole game. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, maybe he's that X factor that you need in that last quarter.
We didn't even have Jack Darling either. I mean,
No,
I don't know how much Jack Darling would affect the outcome, but Tim Kelly and Jack Darling are huge pieces of the squad that you are missing out on.
I guess I mean, at the moment it's not great, but you get all these players back and you kind of can string like that last second half of the season, like get some form and like potentially you can still make finals, but like it's good and bad. Like get COVID, all your good players get COVID. Like it brings like new expectations to these younger blokes, and then the next season they're like all set to play, like, and they've been there, done that kind of.
Yeah, I mean, is it actually a big brain move from the Eagles to get Tim Kelly to get COVID, right? And just spread around the squad a little bit, so they all get. So think of it. So half the squad gets it out of the way. They all have COVID, and they can't get COVID for another 180 days. That will take you majority of the season, right? So you're pretty much, unless another like a physical injury happens to them, like you're not going to have them wrapped out due to COVID. If you just choose 1 week where they're versing like a North Melbourne or an Adelaide, give half your star players just they're out with COVID.
That's true.
But they'll have 1 week off. They'll feel like trash for that 1 week.
I've heard, and Dylan's obviously going off the basis that you can't get COVID for 6 months.
Yeah.
After you get, but with the new like. The research changes so quickly as well, and like different variants come out, so you might get different variants. So
yeah, you're right.
It kind of it is a big brain move. I'll rate it. Every coach jump on that.
That's free game.
Melbourne players, you can just stay away from that. But everyone else, big brain moves.
Coming up to spot 15.
Yeah.
Who do you have?
I've gone with Adelaide.
Adelaide at 15, eh?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, I just want West Coast to be a bit further down.
Fair.
And I kind of go based on like, Adelaide's West Coast, line them up together. Who has more potential? Like, I guess more potential, but like who I see winning that game. I'm going with Adelaide. I just think they're obviously after the weekend, like their young stars can stand up. They get Tex Walker back, which I think he's still got a couple more good years. And going from last year, like he kind of shot out of nowhere. And people do say, and the kind of stats do stack up sometimes where there's one more good season for a good key forward, and then they're a bust next year, which he's not even playing in the first, I don't even know, 3 rounds, something like that. So, yeah, he could be an absolute bust this year. But I see that they're building, they've kind of had their newish coach, like, teaching them how to go about things. And it actually did look pretty good against Freo at home as well. So, I think it is a bit of a fortress down at Adelaide as well. Like, Adelaide teams tend to do pretty well. But
yeah, that is very true.
who have you gone with?
I hate saying like second favourite team, but it is Matt Rowell FC in 15.
Oh, I think second favourite team. Oh, actually, nah, to be fair, yeah, I love Gold Coast.
I like it's true. Like I don't know. It's not
We have an ongoing joke where I'm Matty Rowell because obviously ginger hair, and you're Noah Anderson, even though you look nothing like Noah Anderson. I think Noah Anderson has blonde hair.
He does, but I guess when we were like school footy together, like,
and we both. I think they grew up as like school captains. We grew up school captains, year 12. Like, we did so much for that team, man. Like that one game where I was like, "Yep, I'll do the coin toss. You can give the speech." Yeah, you can do.
Mate, they had the boys ready to run through a brick wall, but that speech only to lose by 60 points to Bowker.
And those 60 points, they weren't even from goals; they were just from behind. So game,
they couldn't kick straight.
They could not kick straight, and it didn't help that they were all going for like banana goals from like the pocket and like 60-meter bombs.
We got ran around.
No, I don't think we lost by that much in the end. I genuinely think we were in the game, but I felt so out of it because I had the ball, but they just kept on blasting our opponents. Like whoever was kicking out, bro.
Their tanks were unlimited. Like they couldn't. We had no bench, but they could just run and run and run.
Fitness. I mean, when you got showing up to lunch training sessions and there's 6 of you, and it's like, all right, boys, we'll do this 5-star. We head home. Like, but that was good times. Yeah, I don't think Gold Coast are going to be any good because that's who I've got next.
But I think like we've got to continue with Gold Coast though, so you have them sitting 14th. Yeah, but like after watching the game, they're a nice team to watch. They are like I didn't realize like Tukamilla is a unit. Like obviously I knew he was good and stuff like that, but he's bulky as like he's. But like no, just watching him as a team, Mabior Chol, he fits into that team really well. His goal was amazing to see.
And Mac Andrew, he'll be one to watch. Hopefully he comes into the team soon. But yeah, good luck for him. But yeah,
Noah Anderson as well. Yeah. He is one of those guys where I don't know if it was just me, but he was getting a lot of sneaky disposals on things. Like I'm trying to watch the game. Like when I was there live, obviously we're trying to watch it. I'm looking around. I'm 15. Where's Noah Anderson having the multi? Where is he? Next time I check the scorecard, and he's already got like 15 disposals.
There was actually a period where he was quite low, and then like there's a good 10-minute period where it goes bang, 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 bang. But when you have possession based like Miller, like
Matt Rowell turned up for that game. Watching that live as a Matt Rowell fan, I needed to change my underwear.
If he plays 22 games fit, like that's pretty much rename the Brownlow to
the Matt Rowell medal, bro. Matt Rowell medal, bro.
So that's good. I've got next. What are we up to? 13.
Just moving on quickly. I got Collingwood at 14th. You covered them pretty well beforehand. You covered them before, like. It's Collingwood. I mean, they'll be on the up, but they'll be on the up in a couple of years. But they've got to kind of establish their rebuild a little bit more, in my opinion.
Definitely.
So sitting 13th.
13th now.
Look, after this weekend, I don't know if I had them really, really low. I had the Saints sitting at 13th. But I don't know. I
think that's about right, though.
After watching this last round of footy, I'm looking at a lot of these teams like I think I could be wrong. I'm just going to stick with them because it's what I thought pre-season. Obviously, we have to re-record it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have St Kilda at 13th.
I've got I don't know if I've said them yet. Because I've messed it up. Like I had Hawthorn at 12th or 11th, and then messed it all up. I think I'm going with Collingwood. I haven't said Collingwood yet, right? I think we spoke about the GoPro.
Oh yeah, you did not say Collingwood. Sorry.
Because I can't remember going too much into Collingwood, but Collingwood. Genuinely, like obviously, going back 2019 is when Tim Kelly did the handball to the side and got absolutely bulldozed. Oh no, who got bulldozed? Was it Nelson? I can't remember. Anyway, it was a pre-elimination final.
Yeah, it was. We watched that game together, right? Oh no, hold on. No, you were in Melbourne at that stage, weren't you?
Was I? Yeah. No, it was 2019. Oh, was it 2020? No, 2019. No, I don't even know where I was. But
the boys were at varsity because Raj and I had tickets to the game, and we said no.
Oh yeah.
We had tickets to go to see the game, and we said no. We're going to watch it at the pub instead. It was a fun time. It was the worst. It would have been better to see it.
Oh, the game was fucking phenomenal.
It was crazy.
Yeah. No, I don't know where I was, but I might have been in Melbourne. Anyway, yeah, missed out on going to that phenomenal game. I would have said, fuck it, I'm going to that game.
Yeah, looking back on it, I would have gone, even with this outcome that happened.
But yeah, going back to that Collingwood team, like their defense stacks up like so well, and I guess they got young boys coming through. It didn't help that they got rid of Chalor. Oh, Trelaw, yeah. I don't know why is it.
They got rid of Trelaw and Stevenson.
Yeah. So like, if you brought back those players, like it was an insane team. But I guess you got your money and whatever, messed up all that. And then you put in like Nick Dacos, and I think it helps. Like it kind of sucks having 1 year where you go bad. Like Collingwood came 17th last year. Melbourne came 17th in 2019 after getting absolutely railed by Eagles in Perth. Like the following year in the preliminary final, everyone thought, oh, they're going to do well. Came 17th. Well, pick up Luke Jackson in Premiership player, baby. Like you don't have opportunities when you consistently doing well. Like Sydney have done it really well over the years. Geelong have done it really well over the years. Not now, like they're getting a bit old, but like Collingwood regrowth this year. Look at their game plan on the weekend. Like they're taking the game on, going through the middle, which they're not usually doing like last year. So yeah, I have them up a bit.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like that's also going to be a similar stage that West Coast are approaching.
Yeah.
I think this year potentially might be like a do or die kind of year for them. But I think in the next, if it's not this year, it's next year that they're gonna have like a super duper bad year and just focus on bringing up that young talent through.
I did watch the game. They're sticking to the kick mark game, right? Yeah, which you don't.
I don't like it, man. I don't like.
And lots of teams are staying away from that now. Like Geelong. Geelong used to be that team as well. And it's
just a boring way to play footy.
Yeah,
it worked for the Eagles, I guess. But as a spectator, it's just
it works when your spine's there. Not so much when you'd rather Tim Kelly get the ball and try and hit that 45 than this young kid that sprays off the side.
That's true. I mean, before the game, I didn't know like 4 of the players that were brought in, and I was like, this is a bad sign. Yeah. But moving on to number 12.
I've got Carlton.
See, this is where we have that first major discrepancy between our teams. Usually they're near each other a bit. So what do you have Carlton at?
Carlton, they're on the way up, but obviously I had a really good game against Richmond, which I did not expect. I did tip Richmond. But no, I see, like, I'll go based off, like, first year coaches don't typically do that well. Vossi looks really good, though.
Oh, yeah.
A lot better than what he did at Brisbane. Going off that, though, when he was at Brisbane, he was coaching. He only played a few years before that, and he was coaching boys that he was playing with, like Jonathan Brown. And I don't know about you, but if you've got a best mate coaching, like, I mean, you stick to what he's saying, but like,
I know, then there's like, I know, not power dynamic, but I guess it is power dynamic. Like, isn't there? If it is your best friend, like, obviously, he's the coach and stuff, but like. Yeah. You do look at him a different type of way as you would like an actual coach.
Game. Yeah, come on, man, give me a game. Like, so, yeah, I think Vossi's better this time around, way better. And I think definitely if they can get close.
Well, he spent some time assistant coach for Collingwood, was it?
I don't know for Collingwood, but definitely Port.
Port, yeah.
Port, and Port's team was really good.
Ken Hinkley, he's been in his job for a while. I mean, he doesn't really get brought up as like among the elite coaches in the league, but definitely. He's doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. Who have you gone with?
I've got GWS at 12.
No, man.
I think after their game against Sydney, like they weren't looking too bad. Yeah, I feel like 12 is probably the best spot for them on the ladder this year.
Yeah, they didn't look too good on the weekend, but you go back to I don't get into it too much because I've got them a lot higher. But yeah, no, that's fair.
Coming in at 11, who do you have?
Going with the Saints, mighty Saints. I don't know if I probably. Like, this is before, so I probably would bump Carlton to be better than the Saints. But I was going based on Saints didn't do too well in 2020. Oh, no, they did really well in 2020. I guess it's a COVID year. Last year, didn't do really too well. But, yeah, I don't think they're making 8. I just think, Max King did not play that well on the weekend, which is a bit disappointing. But, look, I don't know. I do rate their coach.
Yeah.
big rat. Is it Ratton?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I rate him, but I don't think they're anywhere near the mark. Bit of a they need their small forwards to play really well, and they got Butler.
Yeah.
They're going with Butler. They're going with by a million seconds per minute guy. What's his name? Higgins. Yeah, Jack Higgins. Do you see what he did on the weekend though?
What did he do on the weekend?
So he was running on like a 45 angle, running through the 50. He had two options. He could have handballed it to the left to Gresham, very good player, has obviously good finisher, good player, and just blasts, kicks and misses, and it's just like everyone.
Did St Kilda end up winning this weekend?
Huh?
Did St Kilda end up winning this weekend?
No, they got pumped by Collingwood.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
So I like a good Collingwood team, but I'd put St Kilda to win that game every day.
Oh, I tipped St Kilda.
Yeah.
100%,
So for them to lose against Collingwood, who should be way lower than them, and then obviously not showing their potential. So they'll do alright. But if they fix up those little things, they're godly. But if Dan Butler, very good player, like if he kicks 30, 40 goals a year, like they're doing really well. But I don't really see where they're getting goals at the moment, other than
100%.
Max King, and if they have a good defender like Phil Davis.
Max King's on a new contract as well this year, right?
Yeah.
See, that's always throws me. Like you look at it, happens a bit, but like the big I don't know, key forward, like a big player.
Yeah.
They get the massive contract, and then the next year is usually a bit of an off year for them.
Yeah.
And then
Grundy was the same as well.
That second year after that contract is when they then hit the form, but like the hit where they were before pre-contract. Obviously, it doesn't matter when the contract's signed, but it's just like something where, I don't know, you kind of just look at it where like you do kind of see players do drop off after that first
weight. Yeah, the weight off your shoulders, like just sign a contract.
Yeah, like trying to live up to the big bucks. But I've got an 11 Essendon.
Donnies, they didn't look too good on the weekend.
Yeah, they didn't look fantastic.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy I did have them at my 8. So, but they got a really good team as well. Like that midfield team, I feel like Devin Smith, don't rate at all. Sorry, mate, just don't rate you at all. He came from GWS, and they put a big price on him as well.
I never understood the hype of. I never understood the hype of him like you.
I think
don't know.
him and then Shields, like good player.
Oh, I rate Shields. Yeah.
Yeah, McGrath, good player. Parrish, very good player. Like Merritt, very good player. Very good mid. Like Draper, very good player. But they got absolutely sent to town by a very good Collingwood Geelong, and very experienced Geelong. But hey, 1 week they're experienced, 1 week they're old. Like sort of if Geelong shows up, if they get punched, then they're old. If they win, they're experienced. So
yeah, that's true.
What are we up to?
Number 10.
Number 10.
It's hitting the top 10.
I missed the top 10. I got. Oh, you're gonna hate me for this one. I got Brisbane.
Go on, Brisbane.
Brisbane. They won on the weekend, but actually it's not. This is. Can we roll what we did last week? Nah, I changed mine like a little bit. Like I'm just kind of moving.
We have footage there. If you want to add it in, we have the footage.
No, I pretty much moved Hawthorn down and moved everyone up.
Yeah.
And then kind of adjusted Gold Coast to where they were. But yeah, Brisbane, I feel like they're going to get a few injuries. It's like very good team, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's going to be a few injuries. I don't know, I thought that they're going to be like get beaten by the good teams, which they did, and they beat Port on the weekend, which is pretty good. But yeah, I think they're just going to go through a few injuries. But could be wrong. I just thought that I wanted some teams in the top 8. Someone's going to have to come down, so I thought Brisbane, why not?
Yeah, I mean that is a fair thing.
Yeah.
It will be interesting because they were looked at potential premiers last year.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Then, I don't know. So if they're able to continue that this year, it'll be interesting. Coming up in 10th, I've got the West Coast Eagles.
What a joke.
Look, it's a bit iffy. I think, like I was saying before, it is
joke.
like this year is a bit of a do or die year. I think they could either make a deep
How
finals
can you
run,
have-
or they could either look. I think there's either two ways. They either have a deep finals
Look
run
at
with
their
the
injury
experienced,
list.
the experienced older team, or it's just going to be like a more of a rebuilding year because it is coming up. But yeah, like I saw West Coast easily could be a lot more further down the ladder, but I just felt that there were worse teams to where the potential West Coast could be.
So you reckon Carlton are going to do worse than West Coast?
No, I've got Carlton higher than.
Oh yeah, you do. Right?
Yeah.
So you reckon who else is really shit? St Kilda would do worse than West Coast.
Yeah. Honestly, because look, yeah. we're not that far removed.
Collingwood-
We're not that far removed from the premiership.
Collingwood versus West Coast right now. Who wins?
It's an interesting game, isn't it? Like it is crazy because it's an interesting game. If it's a healthy West Coast, I would be taking West Coast. Might be a little bit biased, obviously being a fan. But
Who West Coast have this week? Do we know? We will do our tips for this week.
Yeah.
They have. Oh, I've got North Melbourne. So
It's an easy win this week.
if you
Tim
don't
Kelly
win
coming
that,
back.
if you don't beat North, and I hope it's at Bunstone. Oh, is that Marvel? If it was in Opar, it's not even done, mate. Mate, you'd have all your like kids. They would kick the ball and go back behind the head at Bunstone. Like you need your good players like Tim Kelly. Tim Kelly will be back, obviously, and you do get a few good players back this week.
Yeah.
So
No, but it'll definitely be an interesting year this year.
They are healthy. They are a very good outfit. We'll go over 9. Got Essendon, which I'm happy about now, but that was another team I was like, they could easily come 5th.
Yeah.
And like the players I was saying before, I'm mates with all of them. They all follow me on Instagram. Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like they just, I don't know, they looked a bit slow against Geelong. And I feel like, I don't know, I just don't really rate them. I think now they're just below that 8. And
Yeah.
I kind of justified by the weekend's result right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see definitely Essendon sitting there. I mean, I have them pretty close in 11th. Sitting in 9th, I've got the mighty Blues.
Blue
Carlton.
Blue Baggers.
Look, I just think they're an exciting team.
They
I don't
are
know,
pretty
like
exciting. Game plan looks good.
Cripps, Walsh, Harry
Yeah.
McKay. Like I don't know. I think
Chera.
they're not ready to make the 8 just yet. Chera as well, massive in for
Chera,
this year.
yeah,
Completely
he's
forgot about him.
Mackay, Coleman, just maybe. I don't know.
But no, I reckon they're definitely on the up.
Yeah, if I've got a poor man down back though, Oscar McDonald came from Melbourne, and Melbourne supporters hate that man. Like,
Why do they hate him?
I don't know. I think it was just we have Tom, obviously his brother, big brother, and then we got Oscar, and we're like, oh, how good's this guy? And then he's just a bit of a spud sometimes. Like he like gets pushed down. He's like good player, but obviously he's good enough to bloody make it at Carlton. So I think if they didn't have Liam Jones retiring, I don't think Oscar McDonald's anywhere near that team anyway. So no, it's a good choice. Probably could have had Carlton higher, so I rate them at 9.
Who do you have coming in at 8?
Got Richmond. Richmond moving up. They're back. But
Richmond are back.
I know they are back, but not at that level yet. I don't know. I don't know if they're actually going to do that well this year after losing to Carlton on the weekend. But you never know. I think Richmond, if you look at the players that they've brought in, Tarrant, I think he's going to be really solid down at back. They did lose Hooley and some other really big players.
Hooley is a big out. I feel like people do underestimate how big of an out.
Yeah, I was looking
Hooley
for my
actually
fantasy
is.
team. I was like, fuck, where is he? And then
He was arguably the Norm Smith in their first premiership, 2017.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No. And then everyone in the room's Dusty.
Yeah.
And then after that, mate, you're guaranteed to put Dusty as a norm. So
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get it. So, yeah, I feel like Richmond, if you get Dusty back at his best, Cochin near his best, big out, Prestia. I don't know if he's playing this weekend, but he didn't have a multi when he went out in the first quarter. And had 10 posies in the first quarter, by the way. So he's coming a huge game. So, yeah, I don't know if that's going to be accurate, but I had them sneaking up.
Yeah.
What about you? Who would you have? Anyone sneaking up or
Into the 8?
yeah, or who would you have 8?
So we have number 8, the mighty Fremantle Dockers.
Dockers, soccer Dockers,
So,
they're back.
look,
Purple boys, Purple Army.
It threw me off a little bit, their 1-point win.
Pav's
but-
back as well.
Sandilands, I heard he's coming
Yeah,
back.
Sandy.
But no, I just think Freo are another team that on the up. They've been rebuilding the past couple of years, and I reckon it's just time for them to kind of get that finals run underneath Longmire.
Five said he's back.
Five's back.
Yeah,
Five said
he's back in the mid. So I had him 7. So yeah, I feel like
But you had
they've-
Freo at 7.
Yeah, they've come around. They've rebuilt. They've got their gun players, Heath Chapman. Come on the podcast if you want, mate.
Please.
Best mates, they're best mates. Players like Heath Chapman, game winners, Golden Fist awards, all those things. And then you look at their back, and I feel like you can build. Isn't there a saying where you win premierships from your forwards, but you win games from your forwards and midfielders, but you win premierships from your backs. So I feel like they've got a really solid back line, and then it's just getting the clicks in the midfield. Bring in Brody, Will Brody. He's a jet, man. I don't know how much.
It's kind of it's a weird position that you would have Fremantle in though, Fremantle are in because obviously if they had Chera coming through, like still playing for them,
Yeah.
he's a good midfielder.
Definitely.
I feel like that boosts the midfield so much, especially with Nat 5 coming back playing midfield.
Yeah.
And
they lost Jesse Hogan as well.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of years ago, which he wasn't really playing anyway.
Taverner's injured.
Taverner's injured. He might be back. We're not sure. And like, I guess you can argue that Freo were without Sean Darcy, which is arguably an All-Australian ruck this year. He might have a massive year. Got Fife, who's just Fife, and then you got Taberner, who's your goal kicker. So bring those three in, like gun team again. So
100%.
And then you can also argue Taberner getting 6 behinds in a game because he's a crab. Like, you never know.
He's a hit or miss player a little bit, but no. Coming up in 7, I've got the Bloods, Sydney Swans.
They looked good on the weekend.
They looked really good on the weekend.
Other
than
exciting.
Dusty milking every single thing, they looked really, really good on the weekend.
Yeah, like, that's just the young, exciting players.
They came out of nowhere, really, because like I was one of the people that were like, surely Sydney are going to be right down the bottom soon. Like they need to bring some talent, some like younger players through the team. Yeah. But when you look at it, Heaney, like. Well, you got Heaney. Who else is the gun that had a game on?
Errol Golden.
Yeah, Errol Golden. That's
Luke Parker, normally a midfield, going up forward, kick 5.
Yeah, that was a game.
And then you have like the older boys like Josh Kennedy, who's given up his midfield spot, and it was the first time in his like 160 game career that he hasn't gotten one contested possession.
Really?
Yeah, so...
And of course, that's the one time I put JPK in my multi, right? Me and Raj put him for 20 or something like that.
I told Raj, I said, he gave me the buddy bet slip, and I said, look, mate, looks good. Josh Kennedy is playing in the defense. I'd watch out. And there was multiple ones, so I'm like, oh.
I told him too. I told him too. I was like, I still put it on. Stupid by me, but I was like, Dane Zorko, he's not getting the amount of disposals that he needs, and JPK is also going to throw it off. And the two players that lost the multi for us were Dane Zorko and JPK.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know if that was Dane, but I think I had Dane and he did, not great. But I think, definitely. I think just the way that team dynamics, Horse is a great coach, and I think the way that they've done it, where they've gotten Logan McDonald as pick 5, replacing Buddy when Buddy finally retires, just so smart. And you have the older boys kind of shift out that mids, and if it works, it works. It kind of sucks when it doesn't, because then you have 100%. Josh Kennedy not really having impact. You just lost by 4 goals, and you're like, well, do we send him back in the mid and drop a young bloke, which comes up often. Should we move on to 6th?
6th.
I've gone with Power.
I've gone also for Port Adelaide, so that's the first correct one we both had, I guess.
I know. Well, I don't know. I feel like they're kind of moving down. They've got a good team. I mean, losing to Brisbane on the weekend.
They were another team last year that were looking at a potential premiership.
They should have made that grand final.
They really should have.
I think they snuck in. I don't know it wasn't them. Brisbane just snuck into 4. Port came 3rd. I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, it must have been 3rd or 2nd. Yeah. And they were meant to do really well.
They came 2nd. But...
I think they came 2nd, and they beat Geelong in that first. Yeah, and they were playing at home, and they versed the Doggies, very good Doggies outfit, and got beaten at home in the prelim. So it shows that they really should have been there.
At the time, I had them for the premiership.
Yeah. So I think they fall down a little bit. I think they'll still be really good. I just a little bit worrying. They got a few injuries.
You do find a lot of time that a team that does kind of have that thing around, they never really bounce back that next year to that quite same level. So
which is why I've got Brisbane a bit lower. So,
I mean that's fair. And
it's just hard to fit. It's honestly you look at every good team like West Coast. Oh, look how good team on the list, and then comes to the season, a few injuries don't go their way, a few 100%. Key players out, and you're like, the season's done. So Port up there 6. We've got 5th.
In 5th, so getting close to the top 4, just missing out. I've got the retirement home FC Geelong.
I'm not sure about them this year.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Geelong. I feel like Geelong, kind of like Sydney, they're always one of those teams where you can count on them to be around. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You can't count them off. You could say, they're a 10 team, too old, too slow, and then you just realise they have so many guns.
Oh yeah, and it's like you're saying beforehand. It's like a double-edged sword where no, the team, if they win, the team's so experienced, they're so good. If they lose, they're so old. They need to bring some new, you know what I mean? They need to bring some new talent through. But no, I reckon 5th for Geelong this year.
I've gone with Sydney, so not far off now. Exciting team. Hopefully they can sneak into 4. That'd be pretty cool. But I've gone with Geelong 4. So
it's true.
I think I just look at you look at Tom Hawkins, and then you've got Tom Hawkins like probably one of the best forwards in them, and then you got Jeremy Lynch. Jeremy
Swazza Lynch,
yeah. Make sure you Arsenal. They've got Arsenal legend down at Academy. Jeremy Lynch.
Natural goal scorer he is.
Remember I was thinking of Tom Lynch, which is a good player, but Jeremy Cameron, really good player. Those two working together,
I mean, speaking of Tom Lynch, I've got Richmond at 4, so not too far off. But,
do you reckon they're going to be that good though this year?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I saw a thing where I saw some report about it where I think it was Gary Lyon potentially was talking about if Richmond kind of want to move forward, they should look at having Dusty less kind of the one-man team type game that he plays where he's palming everyone off and shit. Yeah. And instead bring up forward. Have him play kind of forward full time. He is a good forward, so I know it'd be interesting to see how they go if they do something like that. But I know just going up purely, just honestly going off their recent dominance the past couple of years, and they still look like a good team on paper. I wouldn't really count them out of being kind of definitely not out of the 8, but I'd say 4 would be
they were pretty injury prone last year as well. Yeah. So if you have Tom Lynch, Jack Reaver, Jack Reaver looks pretty old. Not going
Jack Reaver's looking real old. But
so. Yeah, there might be some questions asked about whether he gets omitted this year and give a young kid. I mean, got rid of Chol.
True.
And you got rid of Coleman Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know how many options they have up forward now, but it looked pretty old. Going in at 3.
Coming up to the pointy end soon. So at 3rd, I've got runners up last year in the grand final, Western Bulldogs.
Yeah.
They're just a good team. They're a fun team. They're a fun team to watch, but I don't know if they're going to have a grand final hangover this year or.
Well, when they got Trelaw, and I'm like, look at that mid, and there's so many good players, and going on what they were doing on the weekend, you can argue that they dropped Hunter, who should be in that team, and it would make the 18 of any other, 18 on the field of any other team. They're playing Liberatore up forward. I don't know if you saw that, but he, I think, was the number 1 clearance player last year.
Was he?
And he played a lot of time. I think a lot of time up forward on the weekend, which doesn't make sense. Like, why would you not have your best clearance player from last year in the team? And then you have other guys having to go. Like Bailey Smith looked really good. So
I think they've
too many stars.
They've got a good problem to have, which is they've got too many gun midfielders.
Yeah.
I think it is a problem every team wishes they could have.
You got Bont, you got McRae, Smith, Hunter, Liberatore. That's 5, and then those are 5 gun midfielders. Most teams have 2, 3. Yeah. Really, I feel like there's
I don't know.
Trelaw.
Trelaw as well.
Yeah.
And we're missing someone else. I feel like we're missing. But even then, we're talking about 6. That's close to double of what majority of the teams have for midfield wise. Yeah.
So if you count all those guys in, and who we got, Dunkley,
exactly. Yeah.
And you can't fit them all in one team. So it kind of sucks that you have to play some forward. I think Dunkley is more of a forward and put Libba back in the mids. And then you kind of have to rotate some players in the wing. Like Smith can happily play in the wing.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You want growth in your team as well. So Bailey Smith, get huge potential playing in the mid, getting mid-time. But, I don't know, kind of the old boys like Liberatore, you can rely on them to get the job done.
Yeah, 100%. Who do you have coming into the second spot?
Well, jumped ahead there. Have you not said
third? My apologies.
GWS coming third.
GWS coming third.
Look at their team.
I have them coming 12th. I think this is one of the biggest gaps we have apart from each other.
I think that. I have them coming up because you just look at their team. You got Caniglio, right? Then you got Tom Green. Tom Green is a Jet, but then you have Toby Green, his uncle.
I feel like he was missed in the Sydney game.
Yeah, well, because he always gets suspended.
Yeah.
But yeah, his X factor is just grunt on the field, kind of, and I think that he gets the boys up and about. So
100%.
I think him coming back would be a huge benefit. And then you got Josh Kelly, the silky man. Tim Taranto, he plays up forward a lot, which I didn't realise he did, but he kicks goals as well. So
Yeah.
put Tim in there, great player. Cal Ward, great player. And then you can kind of run with, and potentially more of a back, more of a forward, can't play anywhere on the wing. Lockie Whitfield. Like,
He's a gun.
those
Yeah,
players
That's true.
are so good. And then I'm just looking.
Don't they also have Harry Himmelberg? Is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
up forward.
Yeah. So, look, they are a good team. I don't know. There's something about them. I don't know. It doesn't make me confident in the actual team itself. They have a bunch of good players, but
I'm not sure if I like their coach though.
yeah, I think that might be the stigma. I don't know how much I believe in Leon Cameron as a coach if he's able to deliver. Like, he obviously got them to the grand final that one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if he's able to
AFL
with that team.
AFL have helped them a lot. I'd say.
Crazy
And I
amount,
feel bad for Gold Coast because that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I've got them at 3. Who have you got at 2?
You might not like me for this one, but the Big D's, Melbourne. I've got
Same.
them coming up in second spot this year.
Yeah, I can't put them first. That's too obvious. You just got them second, don't you?
I think they are potential for back to back, honestly.
Yeah.
But no, I just don't reckon number one.
It's a lot of pressure. Like,
It's pressure you don't want, really.
no, the saying is first of us, second of us. So I think we win that. So. Put us second. We've won the minor premiership. That's from last year.
Minor premierships mean nothing though. It's
Yeah.
that last something.
And then you just come second, bit of pressure off you. Still get a home final. In that first
You still get the
week.
double chance as well. Like,
So happy with second. I would take a second in the day of the week because I've got them second as well. So very good at lineup.
who do you have at number one?
Number 1, you've already mentioned them. I think they're going to be outstanding. We were mentioning their whole team earlier. Like, it's an actual problem for them at this point. I've got the Doggies. They're just
Doggies number one?
Too good. They are very good.
Good team. Maybe we did speak about them a little bit beforehand, but
Who have you got, man?
the mighty Lions. So Drew has them finishing like 12th or something like that. 10th.
Very low, 10th. Yeah.
10th. But I don't know. Just I feel like it's another team where it's last year they were fully expected. I know I was saying that it's a lot of teams kind of when they're expecting. That's the reason I would drop Port Adelaide down. But I don't know, something about that whole team. Joe Danaher needs a bit of like a mindset check, but as a whole, I do think Brisbane will be able to get on top at least for the home and away season.
Look at their their guns coming up. Zach Bailey.
Lockie Neal is just a different player
Yeah.
now. He's really good. Same with Charlie Cameron. Like,
But when we were saying our predictions for Sneaky All Australians, I wish I said Zach Bailey because Zach Bailey tears Melbourne apart every time we play him as well. It's just like it's players that just you hate to play against.
yeah, but you wish they were on your team.
Yeah,
100%,
you
mate.
just want to strangle him. He's a very good player. I think they'll do good things. I just think they're just going to get a few injuries and a few things that got away. Joe Danaher's going to kick a few more out on full. But yeah, that's our team.
That's what our ladder predictions for the year.
Tell us what you think. Who you think is outrageous? Do you think
Biggest shock of the biggest shock.
I don't know if people agree, but I think West Coast for one now, man.
Oh, 100%.
And I think most people will have Carlton coming up. I think that's.
I think Carlton are a pretty safe team. I don't know how much you prepared. I did put it on kind of the right notes during the week, but like the bet of the week segment, I don't know, I thought we were looking to bring in a betting on our old podcast. I guess we didn't really talk about it last week. We did have a betting segment. On it. I think we're looking at bringing that one back. Did you have kind of a multi for the week or this upcoming weekend?
I wasn't quite sure. So basically, I normally do hardcore research into my multis. So I don't normally I do it to the lead up of the game because I noticed there's a few injuries and one just goes in void. So that's something maybe that we bring from the following week. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But obviously, Dylan's got one prepared for this week.
Obviously with the injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what I kind of, when I was looking at, I don't know, like the teams and the different bets, instead of going for the more usual like disposal getter, like goal kickers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've just decided to go for some outright winners that I thought were paying at kind of long odds. So I've got kind of two variations. See how much you feel like a gambler. So first one, purely AFL. Geelong, West Coast, and Brisbane to all win their games. I think a very winnable game for all three teams. That's paying $5.36 on the dollar.
So you've got Geelong coming up against Sydney.
Yeah,
at Sydney, which is, I think they're very good at Sydney.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think Geelong obviously good win last week.
You've got Brisbane as well, as you say.
I've got Brisbane in that
playing
as well.
Essendon, so Essendon didn't look too good last week.
Yeah, and I've got West Coast against North Melbourne, Tim Kelly and Jack Darling.
This guy loves his West Coast. If they lose to North,
look, if they lose to North,
don't put that bet on. I don't condone that at all because that's not coming through.
That is coming through. I mean, look, if you want if you want bigger odds, put North Melbourne in it. But if you're feeling a bit more riskier for the people at home, added a bit of F1 into it. Max Verstappen to win in Jeddah. That takes it from $5.36 to $13.42.
Is he favourite?
Charles is favourite.
Yeah.
But I think over the last weekend, like over the previous weekend in Bahrain, Max was the fastest. Obviously qualifying, Charles did get the pole. Yeah. But Max did show very good speed the entire weekend, and even in the race, his race pace looked good until he did have that engine failure. He
probably went too hard, like in those earlier, and people were like, he was braking hard. Like Crofty was like, we need to not go so hard. So he's
I mean, he's an aggressive driver, I understand, but I think this week they'll have a look at the fuel pump issues. Yeah, this weekend. I think it's this weekend is Jeddah. And then 2 weeks is Australia, so I think it's like a triple header even potentially.
Damn, it's good when because normally they have a break in between. It's like a bit long, but it's good when they're back to back. So look out for that multi. What was that? The mods.
So that's $13.42, and I'll be placing that one on. I just think I want Charles to win, but
how much are you placing on it?
I'll put a cheeky tenner on it.
Oh my, this man's rich.
Dropping.
This guy's family is really rich, so.
Hey, really?
Go straight from the +1. It's good for you, man. I'd put $1 on that.
Are we doing? Raj to give us a good idea of potential co-host of the podcast, I guess, in the future, but doing like a $1 to 1,000 challenge. He saw it on TikTok, and I don't know if potentially we could get I can put $1 on this weekend, see if it hits.
Well, I think we did try to do it on the great podcast that we did before. So it is an old idea, but I think where we failed that was like going for outrageous
we tried making that up we had to try making
5 for 40 and shit like that. Yeah. So I think we'll bring it back. All we could do, we normally did we did one as a team, and then we kind of see how hard we can go. I think it took like 4. How long did it take before we actually got a win? It was
like 4 episodes at least before we had a winning. Yeah.
So I think we got lower and lower. We were going for like 20 odds to like. I think I understand like $1. You kind of have to build it up like $4.
You have to.
So, we could do that, or we could do like a little competition. I know that the Sidemen did start at $100, which is way too expensive for me. It's like a 2 months worth of salary for me, something like that.
2 months of Nando salary.
Yeah. So we could start at $100, and then after a month, and we'll give you weekly updates because we're just kings like that. That at the end of the thing, and we could get a group of boys together, or we could just get Raj, because Raj he loves his punts, bro. And it's actually bad. Like when you play for a sporting team, like on the weekend, like just playing footy or cricket, like the culture is really like they love a punt. Like they're on the horses. I noticed that. I don't know if you noticed that, but the boys love the horses. They love the dogs. Like anything they can bet on.
We won't say the club thing, but I mean we're talking about the same footy boys here.
Yeah.
And
love a punt.
I mean that's what got me into horse racing. Well. Those type of boys were the ones that got me into it. So
no, I have nothing against it, but it's fun. It's fun. I just can't be asked.
It's expensive. It's expensive pastime.
Exercise.
I mean, we both know a guy who lost 1.2k in half a day on the horses.
I'll believe out his name, but who was it? Oh yeah.
I mean that.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah. I saw that.
So I mean, we're definitely going to be beefing that name out, but
is he not a fan of the podcast?
Just let's be safe. Let's be on the safe side. I know I'm like all right. Well, like I say hi if I see him out.
Nah, good on him. Good bloke.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of money to be risking, but
yeah, I'm not about that life yet. But when I'm bank off this podcast, we'll roll out the credit card, the business credit card. But yeah, that's our. Is that the official bet of the week?
I think, yeah, that's what we're going to run with for the 2Ds bet of the week.
Yeah.
If you want to see, we'll just comment what you want to see, how you want the bet of the week to be done. If you'd
Yeah.
rather like a 1 to 1,000 challenge, doing kind of
I think the 1 to
a bit
1,000
more
is
safer.
Yeah, 1 to 1,000 is pretty cool.
Maybe we can also 1 to 1,000, and we can also do like a weekly side bet or something like that on
Yeah.
there. So there's infinite options really.
Cool.
But now look, we've been going for
Also,
an hour
gamble
and 40.
responsibly.
Oh yeah,
Don't condone it.
only
Like,
gamble when you're willing to use.
We're professionals. We professionally lose. I love losing, by the way. But yeah, does that wrap up the week?
I think that's wrapped up the past
We're
week.
going to
in
talk
sport.
we're going to talk briefly on Bevo. And
His blow up, Bevo's blow
yeah,
up.
Bevo's blow up. He went absolutely off at a reporter, a Fox reporter named Tom Morris.
Now, what do you think of the whole situation? Because I was watching that game. I was watching with my mum on the couch, and obviously after the game, you're not really paying attention to the after credits or anything. Not after credits, but like you're not paying attention to the interviews.
Post-game interviews.
So we're just talking. I was in the kitchen filling up my water bottle, and I just hear Bevo go in, and he's saying like, is that how Fox wants you to operate? Like, I'd be embarrassed. And I was like, what? I was like, what just happened? So I'm rushing the living room, like, Mum, rewind that.
Yeah.
So we rewind it, and it was just
You're an embarrassment, mate.
It was such a simple question, and I can understand a little bit of where Bevo's coming from. But like, what was your whole thoughts on that situation?
I just thought that, like, I was the same. I didn't hear anything about it, and then I saw someone's comment, and like Bevo went rage. And I was like, oh, gotta go watch this. And like, I don't know, I thought Tom Morrison was like good bloke. I didn't know if he was a Melbourne supporter. I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Didn't really look into it too much, and I thought that Bevo had no right to like go in that deep. It wasn't even that deep.
I can
it was
understand
about a player. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's about a player that got omitted because he wasn't good enough, which happens bloody every week or most weeks. And it was just a surprise that it was a decent player. It wasn't because mental illness or anything.
I can understand a little bit of where Bevo is coming from, though. Obviously, Tom Morris was the one who broke the news for the grand final against you guys. So probably a bit of a bad taste in his mouth from that occurring. And then also, literally, the next Bulldogs game they played, he's then done it again. But it is his job. And like,
regardless if his team's playing or not, he's still breaking that story.
And like,
didn't have to bring up a Melbourne supporter.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and when like I asked my mum to listen to it, she was on Bevo's side. She was like, yeah, like, you know, give it to the media and stuff like that. I don't know, in that, especially in that super competitive environment, if you're not the first to break the story, you're last. You know, no one cares if you're second or if you're, I've got
breaking
this.
Stories is hard.
We're gonna post it. Like, you want to be first. That is the whole reason why Tom Morris is. That's why everyone knows who Tom Morris is. You know what I mean? Like, before this whole thing, I knew who Tom Morris was. He was one of the best journalists for footy. Look at him, John Ralph even. I don't know. I stand with Morris on this one, but then he made a couple of shit mates, real shit mates.
Oh, the shittest mate, and like no one finds out about this because it's the boys.
If Bevo doesn't blow up, I don't think that anyone finds out about this message.
And I just find it funny. It's like there's a meme. It's just like Bevo's like release the tape, and then obviously you saw what happens, and it doesn't help that shit mates, but then all the meme bloody things jump on it, and I didn't hear about it until like the memes, and it was Bevo saying release the tape, and then I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then it's like see the previous post, and then it was him saying some outrageous things about a co-worker, and then coming on from that was some very racist and discrimination.
Was there? I didn't see any racism or discrimination. I saw him standing with Trump, but.
That was funny as well.
Some people hate him, some people love it. We're not going to get into that on this podcast, but I mean, you can't fire a guy because of his political affiliation for starters. But I didn't say racism
definitely
or
not
discrimination.
Fired about that. No, definitely the other comments that he made, and I just found interesting, and like obviously, don't really support what he said in those in the clips, but you could tell like it was. The voice note was at 10:40 at night, which he did sound a bit drunk. So
and the thing is though as well, like it's not something that is not nice. It's not nice to say, like it's not amazing to be saying, but it is like I would say that in the boys group chat. 100%. You know what I mean? Like that is that comes out like that. It's a bit locker room talk. It's not even, like he wasn't super degrading to her, I guess. Like. It is a bit out there to be saying about a co-worker and stuff, but he was saying that in confidence that It was a
boys.
boys group chat as the
Yeah.
boys, and you just had a shitmate who decides to leak it.
And also, like, I think everyone now, like, obviously 20 years ago that never happens. But now I think everyone's so aware that if you don't want shit to get out there, just don't send it. And which is like another argument, I guess. But even I know, I'm like, should I send that right now? And like when you're on the PlayStation bloody 5, like chat, like whatever, like I think it's a bit more. But when it's a voice, like that shit, someone's saving that.
The number one question I ask myself when I send a message, mate, to the close boys, I don't really care, but
Yeah.
to if it's like a girl or if it's like someone who I'm not super close with, the first thing
Yeah.
I'm thinking of is how does this look in a screenshot?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, definitely.
I am scared as of getting cancelled for anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would. Tom Morris better not be keeping them friends around. That's all I gotta say because
Imagine.
that is one
I
of
was
the
thinking
worst.
about that. I was like, that's probably like the cricket boys. I know he's a part of a cricket team. I see his TikToks, and yeah, I like the boys in that group chat. I wouldn't be mates.
Well,
like,
where does he go? Where does he go from here? Obviously, Fox is the biggest.
Dan Murphy's.
One of the
Dan
biggest.
Murphy's a hiring?
Hope Mac is a hiring.
I don't know how it goes. I think he has to build up his reputation again. I think he was pretty good, but I mean the Fox boys back him. We back our man. You see like Gary Lyon.
That was so overkill as well. Though. That was crazy.
And even he had confidence. He's like, "Oh, Fox back me."
It's just like
Didn't help himself really. I think if he, do you reckon if he didn't say that, do you reckon Bevo releases the tapes? No, who knows? But
I think
I found that funny. It was a bit, I just found the timing of it all.
very convenient timing for all of that to be happening for sure.
Anyway, I think we wrap up this week's podcast. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you want more content like this. We'll be coming out with TikToks as well. So TikToks and also Instagram Reels.
We'll be working Instagram a bit more as well. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely just more content out there for you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Anything more, Dylan?
No, anything else? Tune in next week.
Peace. See ya.